Good morning, guys. I have a quick little something I want to share with you guys this morning as I'm in my scriptures that keeps coming to my spirit. And it's the importance of making sure that we fulfill everything that the Lord instructs us to do in the promised land. Okay. And so this is coming from 2 Kings chapters 11 through 15. Okay. And in these chapters, it talks about the different kings that Israel and Judah have during that time. And it either lets you know whether they did right what was in the eyes of the Lord or if they continued in evil, right? But one thing that stuck out to me was that for the kings that did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, this verse always preceded, and it said, "Nevertheless, the high places were not taken away. The people still sacrificed and made offerings on the high places." So in my Bible commentary, the high places in Hebrew is Bamoth, is Bamoth. And these were high altars that were basically constructed during the time when the Canaanites were in the promised land, and it was used to worship Baal, which was their false god, right? And so because the kings who, even though they did right was in the eyes of the Lord, did not address these things, there were consequences. An example is in 2 Kings chapter 15 with King Azariah. So it says that he did everything that was right in the eyes of the Lord, but because he didn't address these high places, the Lord touched him with leprosy. And so if we go back to Deuteronomy chapter 12, the Lord gives instruction to the people before they enter into the promised land about his chosen place of worship. I'm actually just going to read it. It's Deuteronomy chapter 12, verses 1 to 9. Okay, this is what it says. It says, "These are the statutes and rules that you shall be careful to do in the land that the Lord, the God of your fathers, has given you to possess all the days that you live on the earth. You shall surely destroy all the places where the nations whom you shall dispossess serve their gods." So these are the high places. So they were supposed to destroy every high place that they come like forward, that they see, right? And it says, "On the high mountains and on the high hills and under every green tree, you shall tear down their altars and dash in pieces their pillars and burn their ashram with fire. You shall chop down the carved images of their gods and destroy their name out of that place. You shall not worship the Lord your God in that place, but you shall seek the place that the Lord your God will choose out of all your tribes to put his name and make his habitation there. There you shall go, and there you shall bring your burnt offerings and your sacrifices, your tithes and the contribution that you present, your vow offerings, your freewill offerings, and the firstborn of your herd and of your flock. And there you shall eat before the Lord your God, and you shall rejoice, and you and your households, in all that you undertake, in which the Lord your God has blessed you. You shall not do according to all that we are doing here today, everyone doing whatever is right in his own eyes. For you have not as yet come to the rest and to the inheritance that the Lord your God is giving you." And guys, when I read that last verse, what came to my spirit was, make sure you do all that the Lord is instructing you to do in the promised land, okay? And so it's not enough to just walk in your assignments. You also need to address the things that do not honor God in the places that he is taking you, okay? And so we know that as the remnant, we're being tasked to rebuild the temple, right? We're being tasked to prepare the way for the Lord for his second coming. So addressing the things in the church that has not been honoring the Lord, right? And so it's very easy that one just take the position where if I'm doing what's right in the Lord's eyes, I don't have nothing to worry about, right? And so what happens is you end up turning a blind eye to the things that are going on around you because you say, well, I'm doing what's right. So I need to worry about myself. But that has been the mindset of the church this whole time. And because of that, there has been an infiltration in it. And we see these worldly things coming into the church. And so we cannot make the same mistakes. We have to make sure that we follow all the Lord's instruction in that not only do we complete the ministries and the assignments that he's putting on our hearts to do, but that when we see anything that serves other gods going on within the church, that we address it. Because if we don't address it, there will be consequences for us as well. What comes to my mind is like, okay, we're tasked to rebuild the temple. When you're rebuilding a structure, if you don't address the faulty foundation and you just try to build above that, it's gonna fall. And so the same thing with the church. If we don't address what has infiltrated the church, anything we try to build to prepare the way for the Lord is gonna fall apart, because it's not on a firm foundation. And so this is the thing. I truly believe that the reason why so many people take this stance that I'm just going to do what God's called me to do and I'm going to turn the blind eye is because of fear. Because you know that when you come against something that has been built for a long time, you're going to experience pushback and persecution, because there's still people who are connected to that, right? And so my prayer for us as the remnant is that we not fall to this fear where we turn a blind eye to the things that need to be addressed, but that the Lord give us the wisdom and the zeal to address these things and dismantle them, so that it does not, like a disease, spread into the things that we're building for him in this hour, but that it allows us to clear the ground so that we can build on a firm foundation. And so that has been burning on my heart as I've been reading these chapters, is make sure you complete in entirety the instruction of the Lord, in not only doing what he calls you to do, but being the watchman that he needs us to be, calling out the things that should not be in the church, but doing it from a place of wisdom, okay? And so just know that as we operate in entirety as to what God calls us to do, he will have his favor on us so that we can fulfill it, okay? And an example that I'll give you guys in the Bible is in Joshua 10, towards the end. I'll put the scriptures in the description bar, but the Lord led me to this after I felt this burning to share this with you guys. In Joshua, towards the end of chapter 10, we read how Joshua does listen to the Lord's instructions. Not only does he follow through on what the Lord's calling him to do, but in these lands that he conquers, he makes sure to break down all these altars, right? And so as he does this, the Lord gives him victory in these wars. And in Joshua chapter 11, towards the beginning, we see that the other kings that are in the other remaining lands see what's happening, and they decide to come together to come against Joshua. So this would be the example of the persecution that we might face as we come against these worldly things that have infiltrated the church, right? That have held ground for so long. And what happens in Joshua chapter 11 is that the Lord tells him to proceed, that he will give him the victory over all these kings. And now these are I would encourage you guys to go in and read the chapter, because these are a lot of kings that come together against Joshua. And still the Lord provides him victory. Why? Because he is operating in the entirety as to the instructions the Lord has given him. And so it's an encouragement to us that do not allow fear, even though those who come against you might be greater than you. Do not allow fear to overcome you, because the Lord goes before you and he will provide you the victory as you address the things that need to be addressed, okay? And so I will make sure to put all these verses, these scriptures in the description bar so you guys can read them and be encouraged. But please take heed to this warning, guys. Don't just fulfill what God's calling you to do personally, but remember that you are also a watchman, and that if you see anything happening around you in these places where the Lord is taking you in your promised land that does not serve him, but that leaves an open door for the enemy to confuse the lost souls that will be coming in, that please address it. Go to your secret places, ask the Lord for wisdom to identify these high places, and then ask him for the wisdom as to how to tear them down and how to address it, and for the favor. Because we cannot build on faulty foundations. So may we have the strength. May the Lord give us the strength to move forward without fear. So until next time, guys, I love you.